Hi everybody, it's Casey Williams. Well, the weather wasn't quite what we were hoping for, but the car is much better than what we expected. It's a 2020 Corvette Convertible. Let's go have a look at it.
So I pull in front of my hairstylist place last night, and she comes out and she says, "You've got to be kidding me." She saw the red sports car and thought it was a Ferrari. And then I explained to her, "What are you talking about? It's a Corvette." And she looked at it, she said, "Yeah, I can see that now." And you really can see a lot of traditional Corvette design keys in the car. And while the engine's been moved from the front to the middle, it still looks like a Corvette. You still have the pointy nose, still have the flared fenders, the LED headlamps, they're reminiscent of the previous generation Corvette. It has a very Corvette face to it. I like the black trim on this one. Looks really, really good. Come around the side of the car, and you start to see more of that Ferrari influence. Looks a little bit like the Ferrari LaFerrari from a few years ago. That's really just a contrasting color of the black roof with the red paint job. Looks really, really good. I like the black trim here on the air inlet. 19-inch wheels in the front, 20-inch wheels in the back. Those are really just the basic wheels, but I think they look really, really good in the car. Just a lot of body detail, a lot of sculpting. Just looks really, really sexy, I think. Come right to the back of the car, and this is how you're going to know it's the convertible from the outside. On the coupe, there's the glass panel here, fastback look, you can see the engine down through it. The convertible has the flying buttress look, just kind of the vertical rear window. It actually has a folding hardtop that I'm going to show you in a few minutes, which is a Corvette first. But just a really, the tail lamps, the quad tail lamps are very Corvette, the overall look at it. This one's more of a basic trim package on it, so there's no rear spoiler. But I think the car looks really, really good without the spoiler anyway. It looks really clean, looks really slick. Look at the trunk real quick. One of the things people have always liked about Corvettes is the trunk space, at least in the last few generations of them. This is a little tighter. You've got enough space to get a set of golf clubs in here. There's also a front in the front, which I'll show you. So there's space here, you get some duffel bags in here. Let's walk up to the front, I'll show you that as well. Again, in the front, you can get a roller bag in here if you're going to the airport. So between the rear and the front, you have almost as much storage space as the previous generation Corvette, just kind of split up a little bit. So that's pretty cool. Corvettes for several generations again, you had T-tops or a removable target roof if you want a hardtop. Otherwise, it was a canvas roof. So I think it's really nice. Those who want a convertible and still have that hardtop, you can get the power from the hardtop. Some people might say it's a little bit overdone. There's nothing really wrong with the canvas top, and the target top works just fine. But I think it's really nice. It's a nice option, something really cool for Corvette to now have. And I think the car looks really cool when the top's down too. I like these seal panels back here. I like the way the trunk lid looks. It looks really nice. Coming inside, we tested a Corvette Toronto coupe that had the Z51 package and a lot of options on it. This one's a little more basic, and I wanted one that was a little more basic. So I want to see what you would get for closer to the base price in this car. And it's still a very nice interior. I like the swivel steering wheel. I think it's just great. It's easy grip here. It's nice when you're cruising, put your hands there. It's really designed to improve your line of sight out the front of the car, but it's also very comfortable, very nice. I like the flat screen instrument cluster. The touchscreen for the infotainment system, very easy to use, just pretty much standard Chevrolet. You've got icons down below for audio, phone, climate. All works very, very well, very easy to use. Volume button here, very nice. Gear selectors right here, it's buttons. This car only comes in an automatic transmission. There's no longer a manual transmission for this generation Corvette. It's all automatic. You can't put it in manual mode. You've got paddle shifters here, you can drive it that way. This has a Bose audio system. There is a performance Bose audio system. It's an upgrade, but this sounds just fine. You're in a close little car, 2-seat car. It doesn't take much of a stereo to make one sound. And the Bose system on this is just fine. This does not have a heads-up display. I think that's something I would like to have if I had the car. But again, it's part of an options package and a little bit expensive. But again, the flat screen here. And what's really cool too is that flat screen is reconfigurable. So if you go through the different drive modes, I've got it in tour mode now. It's got the big tachometer speed on the middle. Put the sport mode. You can hear the exhaust change a little bit, but it also changes the readout. You put it in track mode. And it puts the tachometer up above. It just kind of puts out your line of sight. So I think that's really cool where you can adjust that as well. Drive modes, it'll adjust the steering, it'll adjust the throttle input, the transmission shift points, just make the car a little more aggressive as you step it up. There's the car, climate controls are all here, the center thing. This is really cool, a lot of people comment on it. And it looks like a massive button, but it's actually pretty easy. Driver's button's on top, automatic on here, passenger on below. This car does not have heated seats. I think, again, I'm a little bit spoiled. I think that's something I'd like to have. But overall, it's just a really nice car. I like the seats, fairly basic seats, upgraded with the red seat belts. Spent a lot of miles in it. Spent a lot of miles in this one, a lot of miles in this car we had the field a few weeks ago. And it's just pretty really car to check out. So it's been raining quite a bit lately, so we're going to take it just a little bit easy driving. But trust me, the car has plenty of power. It has a 6.2 liter V8, delivers 495 horsepower. This is basically the base engine. Routes that through a dual clutch 8-speed automatic transmission. There is no manual transmission available anymore in the Corvette. If you want to shift for yourself, you got to press the manual button, use the paddles, and then you can shift it to your heart's delight. And I think that's fine for most people. Corvette wasn't selling a lot of manual transmissions anyway. Most people are driving the cars, with the automatic, so I think that works out fine for them. But again, this car has plenty of performance. 0 to 60, under 3 seconds, top speed approaching 200 miles per hour. So even in kind of the base configuration, all the performance I think you're going to ask for. This does not have the Z51 package that everybody seems to want, but I don't think the Corvette needs that. I mean, unless you're planning on spending all day at the track, over the weekend, just beating on the car, it's unnecessary. You don't need the brakes. You don't need all of that gadgetry on the car, and you just spend a lot of money. It makes the car look kind of cool. It's kind of like a Jeep Rubicon that can do lots of things you'll never do with it, but it's just not necessary. I think for everyday use, I think the base suspension. This does not have magnetic ride control. Just got the base suspension on it, but I think it's tuned just absolutely perfectly. You can drive the car hard. It's tight as it needs to be, but when you're on the interstate or driving on city streets, it's also a fairly comfortable car to be in. So I think overall, I think it's just really nice. Fuel economy, we'll talk about that for a second. Not usually a Corvette trademark, but we're talking about 15 miles per gallon in the city, 27 miles per gallon on the highway. I think that's really decent for what this car is. So let's talk about some of the advantages of a mid-engine car and talk about how Corvette was able to overcome some of the deficiencies of mid-engine cars usually. So putting the engine behind you makes the car a lot more balanced. It's a lot easier to rotate, it's a lot easier to handle. Acceleration-wise, moving the weight from the front to the back just allows the back tires to hook up better. It really allows those quick launches and just really plant the rear end and take off. So again, they've knocked about a second off the 0 to 60 time from the previous generation base car. It's pretty impressive. In fact, this car runs 0 to 60 just a little bit quicker than the old ZR1 did. So really, taken the basic car and made the acceleration on par with what was the top Corvette a generation ago. I think it's all very, very impressive. Some of the deficiencies of a mid-engine car usually passenger space is tight, usually your feet are a little bit cramped, and luggage space is usually pretty tight in a mid-engine car, just because of where the engine's placed, how the front end kind of pinches in. But I think Chevrolet did a really good job with that too. They really worked to overcome those deficiencies. There's plenty of legroom up here in front, especially with an automatic transmission. There's no need to get a clutch pedal in there. But it's really wide. There's a nice big dead pedal over the left side. So from this seat, it's comfortable. I think the passenger side, the climate controls are here, so it kind of makes it a little tighter with your shoulders and your arms. But also, there's enough leg room, and the seats move back. You can get tall people in here, and it's fairly comfortable that way too. It'd be nice if there's a little more luggage space, but for a mid-engine car with the front in the front and the trunk in the back, there's still enough space for 2 people to get all their luggage in here for a week and get away. And I think it's all you really need. But overall, I think they've just made a very nice car. It's very well balanced. I think, again, Corvette enthusiasts will be very comfortable in the car. It's a very comfortable feeling to the car. But I think those people who want a more exotic car, or younger people who just aren't really in tune with the Corvette heritage, I think they'll find a lot to like in this car too. It's really hard not to like this car. Chevrolet just absolutely hit it out of the park. Moving the engine from the front to behind the seats allowed the engineers and designers to just do all kinds of great things. It just has a whole different stance in the car, but it still looks like a Corvette. Handling is vastly improved. And the hardtop, floating hardtop, I think is really a nice addition too. I think a lot of people really don't like that. So the one thing they really stuck to is price. It's always been a Corvette hallmark to have a very formal price tag. Well, a base Corvette still starts just under $60,000. This one, with a convertible top, pretty basic interior, $70,380. And I think that is an incredible deal for what this car is. Well, next week we'll have another fun car. Till then, storm forward.